Hello everyone. Today's the this video is just gonna be a develop commentary. For this recap, I only make the previous things as a way to recap the story. Yeah. This is a parody of the original title screen. A fun fact about this one, interesting fact. It's that it is that I actually removed tails from the title screen. The reason why is because it would make more sense for Sonic only to be included. That's why. Also, I added Mini Metal as a character because, well, yeah, it would be because of the recent meme that's there. So it would be interesting if I added him as a character. And it made a lot of sense because he's also a popular meme in the Sonic community. Yeah, and also one other thing that's there also is actually, let me go back to the intro. So I'm Dave. Yeah. Who is that? If you all know what an intro is, in case anyone know the reference what an intro was, it's a reference to robotics theme from the Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog. I decided would make a lot of sense because it is related to robotic, and it's kind of like a way of robotics keeping a plan. Oh wait, just let me go back. And it will be a time being able to fly. Also, reason why Sonic shows his side is because he actually cannot talk. Yeah, he cannot at all talk. Sometimes. A fun fact for this level is that for all the levels I added no checkpoints. The reason why I actually added no checkpoints is because this is a way to reference Sonic to 8-bit. And how that game also did not have checkpoints. So that's the main reason why I just decided not to include any checkpoints as a way to reference the game. And plus I also had no checkpoints just to make the levels more challenging, I guess. Also the three badniks I did, which is the Moto Bug, the lizard and the crab meat, are all badniks that also appear in the first level of the underground zone of Sonic 2 8-bit. Gentleman Crab is a character who was then Sonic 1 8-bit. Actually, Sonic 1 was made by Diddy, yeah. But basically, he kind of acts. He's basically a parody of an average British person. And basically, he does appear in the spring, Spring City, I think, was the level name. Yeah, I think Spring City or something was that level which he appears. Well. The inspiration for this level was the reason why this is a blue and red is because it's a reference to how the crab meats in Sonic 2 8-bit are a combination of blue and red. This boss is a remix of the first boss that's in Sonic 2 8-bit. At least this boss isn't unfair or ridiculous unlike the first boss. Oh yeah. Wait a minute. Oh man, I forgot Flying Grass Act 1 in my playlist. Just realized that. It's okay. Barriers of far I like grass. The design why the level looks a bit like this is because it's actually a reference to the bridge zone Act 1. Act 2 I mean in Sonic 2. Sonic 1 was made by an idiot. And basically the level looks like this only. That's the reason why I make it look like that instead of making it more similar to Sky Hill from Sonic 2. This is an obvious reference to this level is a it is an obvious reference to the Act 2 of Sky Hill where it's more dark. Also, in case you're wondering, the music is from Homestuck, but I'm actually not a Homestuck fan. And the way I found the song was through a game, Roblox game was Adventure Forward. That's actually how I found it, not because of Homestuck, because of a game called Adventure Forward 1. This boss acts like a remake of the boss, that original boss in Sky Hill. So one thing for the mini boss I forgot to mention is, yeah, for Mini Metal himself, I thought it would be funny if he just said her. Yeah, you get the joke. But basically, the interesting concept I did for the mini boss was that I decided to use the bottom bound thing that's there where the level scrolls up. I basically designed the level to make it look like it's normal, but then add a plot twist where it scrolls up. That's the reason why it's the beginning is very empty as a way to trick the player. For those of you who are wondering, who are all just saying, why the hell did you just reuse a level from Sonic 1 was made by an idiot? Why didn't you just make a parody of Aqua Lake? The reason why is because I feel like I just want to make this series a bit more respectable to South Island since it takes place in that. And I feel like it would make sense to add Aqua Lake. Yeah, I just feel like it wouldn't make a lot of sense for Aqua Lake to be there. Plus, it's a place that's outside, so I think Sonic would have already discovered that place. Yeah, and also the reason I add some places like such as Sky Hill, I mean Flying Grass, is because the Flying Grass was already there, and the reason I also added Underground Flame is because it's underground and Sonic hasn't discovered it. That and Egg Mountain I also added it because it is something built by Eggman himself. Like I mean Robotnik built it. It's not there before. And also Egg Base was also created by Robotnik himself. So was Egg Void obviously. The only big difference that's there from the original Instant Labyrinth, one big difference is that this shooting projectile thing that you see, this thing you see, it was not there in the original. I decided to use it because it was anyways added in the because it was anyways added on version 13. Also, the reason I didn't make a lot of decide not to make the original mini bosses. The reason why I did that is because as a way for me to include the other characters itself. Because I'm planning for the something like maybe the more important characters like the Metal Sonic, Mini Metal, and Robotic to be mini bosses, and instead have the boss battle be something unique which Sonic hasn't fought, except for rare occasions such as Ancient Labyrinth, Egg Mountain, and Egg Void. I mean Egg Base and Egg Void. And this mini boss is a reference to the Fissy of the Kingfish mini boss, where he also does that same exact, where he also summons a spams a bunch of Fissies. Fun fact about the syllabus: the reason why there's no chops is because I actually managed to go over the object limit for the level. Like I actually added a bit too many Fissy. Like I added at least 1,000 of them. So that's the reason why there's no chops, because I accidentally overdid the Fissies a bit too much. Yeah, so I hope it's understandable. For the Ancient Labrador Act 2. Yeah, it's kind of a reference to how the original Ancient Labrador where it's dark. But I didn't want to make it the exact same thing. So I tried adding a bit of a red tint to make it a bit more original. Because I don't want to copy everything from the original Ancient Labrador. And the reason why I made it mini metal the boss this time, the reason why is because for each half point of the game, like this is a half. This is because once you beat mini metal, that's the first half of Sonic 2. It was made by an idiot for me. And for Metal Sonic, if you beat him, you've pretty much completed the bad ending part. And if you beat him Robotic, you complete the good ending part. So that's why. Main is the reason why Sonic also looks a bit disappointed at him. Like I'll just show you why he looks disappointed. Like I'm showing you. The reason why he looks disappointed also is because he's kind of tired of the HUE joke, the joke. He's just finding it boring. Also, the reason I made UFOs as capsule is because, as a reference to Sonic 2 8-bit, where even that has UFOs instead of normal capsules. The reason I didn't do Green Hills is, well, this one makes a lot more sense because Green Hills is literally just Green Hill. So 100% makes sense for me to just make Grass Hill. Even though I already have Ancient Labrador made. Wait, fine. So reason I added the instrumental version of You Can Do Anything, the reason why I added the instrumental version of the Japanese version of the Sonic CD intro is because the original Green Hills level also contained the 8-bit remix of that's the reason why. Also, a fun fact in Grass Hill is that all the bandits that would end the original Grass Hill also appear here. This side of the unique concept of making a boss for the mini boss, because it can be recreated. Concept for the mini boss is that it's something I can recreate in classic Sonic Simulator. That's the concept. So I thought it would be a cool concept if I made this, and I can easily tell people liked it because I got liked by 10 different people. So I can definitely tell people enjoyed this a lot. And I agree actually, because this boss feels like a classic Sonic boss out there. Because of the elements, it just feels like a normal classic Sonic boss. Actually, I'm not kidding. I'm not being biased. Actually, it feels like that. Fun fact. In the beginning of the level, you'll see this Motobug filled in this room full of these monitors. An explanation why is there is because this is an important detail that will appear later on in the finale, in the boss battle. Because this is actually the same Motobug that is there in the Grass Hill boss. and it becomes powerful by consuming all of these monitors. That's how. So it's a nice little detail I added. This is again a reference to the original Grass Hill Act to Divider again spice things up again as usual. Similarly to how I added pretty much only Fissis and Chop Chops in Ancient Labrador Act 2, for this one, I decided to extend the level a bit more. Also, one thing I got to mention is that after you beat mini battle, from this point on, I decided to add new hazards, such as there be less ring monitors, conveyor belt platforms. Actually, their conveyor belt platforms appear in Egg Mountain, and also the spinny spike things. Yeah, just to make it more tougher and challenging for later levels. But I do well show you the twist. Also, this level's a bit long, thanks to me being a noob. And I did use debug mode, yeah, for this level. So basically, I extended this level by adding a part where you go here. Yeah, I'll just show you the part again. Yeah, but basically it's a part where you go to and just casually avoid the bandits. Like you can just attack them as a way to make the level more longer. So there's this puzzle thing where you basically have to precisely jump. Basically how it works is you have to precisely jump on this thing and then you jump here. Yeah, and the finale segment definitely messed me up. Yeah. Also, this finale segment's also kind of a reference to the Bridge Zone Act 1. Yeah, so one other thing I want to say is that for all the bosses that appear after mini battle, it's that all the bosses have multiple phases. A fun fact is that I actually wasn't planning this to happen at first, but unironically all the bosses actually had multiple phases. And I thought it was good. So I decided, so I'm planning to just do the same exact thing maybe for Sonic Chaos was made by an idiot. Also, this boss is the same. This mini moto bug is the same one that appears in the Grass Hill Act 1 mini boss. Not to be confused with this. Not to be confused with this mini boss. It's a different mini boss. The Sonic 1 was made by the idiot Grass Hill mini boss. And basically, it's giant and it comes back for revenge. And this part I think is also a reference to, I think maybe like, it's a reference to the giant Bowser Yoshi's Island, where it's far off in the background. Nothing really interesting to comment here, other than the fact that this is the introduction to conveyor swinging platforms and just conveyor belts in general. The reason I decide to not add a mini boss The reason why is because I decided not to add mini metal so there wouldn't be too much screen time, I think, for him. Yeah, because I think he was defeated, kind of defeated. He was not actually defeated, but he kind of no longer appears after the instant elaborate boss. Yeah, but basically this Gargantua was another reference to the previous Gargantuas from Sonic 1 and Sonic CD was made by an idiot. But basically this is just the best way to describe this mini boss is Sisyphus. Like literally. And I don't be a funny concept. I pretty much had no idea what to add as a song. So I decided to add this Sonic Time Twisted song. One thing I decided to add some bumpers. I decided to add some bumpers and things just so I could spice the gameplay up. So it doesn't feel generic or it doesn't feel like a copy of the first act. That's the reason why I decided to add some bumpers and all of these other gimmicks. So it doesn't feel like exact replica of the first act because I care more about the gameplay and general things in the act than just things like that. The song is definitely fire though. Respect to the people of Sonic Time Twisted.
Hello, idiot.
Yeah, I decided to make the boss more of a plot twist. Where most of the average players wouldn't expect something like this to happen. So I thought it would be an interesting concept for the Gargantua to actually get revenge and not just casually ignore you and let you go free. I decided to add the same exact music from the intro of Sonic, of that intro segment in actually this song that's there basically is the exact same song that I use for the Underground Flame Act 1 intro because I thought it would be a nice reference. Also, I decided to add spikes here as a way to reference scrambled egg, where basically scrambled egg also acts a bit like a puzzle. So I decided to also try making egg base some confusing things in egg base. Like I tried making things a bit confusing as a way to reference it. Reference scrambled egg. If there were pipes in this game, like similar to if there were pipes in this game, I would have definitely done so much evil at this level. Like you have no idea what torment I would just be doing. But at time, sadly, it's not there. Otherwise, that level would have been a maze, literally, if the pipes were added. It's classic Sonic. Also, why this dev? If you're watching this, please add pipes. I don't care if they're a harassment. I don't care if they're annoying or bad. What are the people who make Kaizo levels want to make levels with it? Please just think about it. Just add it. I don't care. Also, I did try to showcase it. I did also try to showcase an interesting concept, which where basically the goalpost, the finale of the level, is actually hidden underground here, but there is an exclamation sign telling you not to go. I decided to do as a way to fool the player if they decide not to follow it, similar to how scrambled egg Also punishes the player for not finding the correct way. Egg based mini boss is kind of it's pretty much a reference to, I think, Spring City mini boss, where I decide to make it act like a puzzle similar to Spring City's mini boss in Sonic 1 was made by an idiot. Yeah, when basically I decide to hide rings and things. No reason I decide to add water in this level in the first place is because as a way to spice the gameplay up, similar to how I added those gimmick things in Egg Mountain Act 2. Same thing for water. I wanted to make the gameplay a bit more unique than just having the same idea as the first act. And also another unique thing is this exclamation now will lead you to your death. So I thought as a way to again punish players, basically a way to troll players again as usual. I thought it would be funny if I did the exact same thing but the opposite. Nothing interesting to comment for egg based boss. Other than the fact there's no caption because it's kind of the last zone. Kind of. Also for the egg void act 1 that's there. There's also some things of the do not come and come. But basically, I decided to add a option things as a way to reference the Sonic CD and Sonic 1 when even they have the options. I thought it would also be a good concept if I did it. For the do not come and basically Sonic uses a jetpack and runs away. And I basically make it a parody, aka a pretty much similar and inspired by the bad ending of Sonic 2 8-bit for the do not come option. I pretty much make it like inspired by the bad ending for Sonic 2 8-bit. For come, the, the level that's there for the Egg Void Act 1 is brutal. Like I tried purposely making it brutal, but this time I did hold back. I decided to add hazards such as spinning spike, two spinning spike balls, big spikes which come out up and down. Like I decided to purposely do it. And I also decided to include extra enemies, which were not. We see every other enemy that's been there in Sonic 1 and Sonic CD was made by an idiot for Egg Void. And also I decided to make the background change randomly also. And the reason I pretty much did this is as a way to make. The reason why is because this Egg Void actually takes place in a void created by Robotnik himself. It takes place in like an alternate dimension. And I kind of made similar to how Crystal Egg is because of how Crystal Egg also is a bit mysterious. Yeah, for this one, it's kind of a mini boss, self explanatory. And basically, a cool feature for this is I change the background for based on which boss this is. Yeah, and pretty much I'm only doing it for Egg Void because it would make sense for the background to change in a level like Egg Void. If I decide to do the back change the background of a level such as like let's just say Egg Sky, it wouldn't make sense at all. It would be pretty dumb. Yeah, so that's why it makes sense. And fun fact, this level was so long that actually was over the 10-minute mark. Yeah, and by the way, one thing I forgot to mention. Oh my god. This block posting part is literally more than 50% of the video. But I also, by the way, a fun fact, I basically kind of create a harder version of that same exact boss that was in Grass Hill. Also, I decided to make it only one hit. The reason why is because I want to be a bit more fair to the player, and I found it a bit difficult trying to attack robotics, so that's why. Yup, you heard that right. And I once again decided to use music from Kubi. The reason why is because these old because the music that you'll use from it is also used in the finals for both Sonic 1 was made by Idiot and Sonic CD. But basically as usual you can just say the level is brutal. And the other interesting concept I added for the level is I also planned the level to be in a reverse. To be more reversed. Like you're going from the left instead. The concept is a bit similar to the last level of Sonic Superstars where you go from the left instead. That's kind of where the concept was inspired by. And also this finale segment is inspired by the finale that by the other finale segments that also appear for Sonic 2. I mean for Sonic CD and Sonic 1 was made by Idiot. Yeah. And also I decided to add bubbles later on. Because I just realized that I actually forgot about him. Also for the Egg Void final boss, I decided to make him well. I decided to make him an atomic structure as a way to reference the final boss from Sonic 2 8-bit, where Eggman I think suits some sort of atom thingies that are there, and it kind of like causes an electrocution to happen. That's where the inspiration of Egg Atom came from. Yeah, and this boss kind of acts a bit similar to the previous two final bosses, except Eggman Robotnik, I mean, is not in his final form. He's a bit. The reason why is because he's more happier, unlike the previous two games where he gets beaten up by Sonic a lot more. And at least he had Tail in his place. Also, I decided to make it an interesting concept to add Tail Doll. He will appear in the next Sonic was made by the Idiot series, but basically just another. He's just a robotic version of Tails. That's all. I mean Tail, yeah, Tail. Yeah, and I thought it would be interesting to add him. This I thought would just be funny to I decided to add this as a excuse for the metal song. I mean for Robotnik's henchmen not to attack Tail because they're all so traumatized by just seeing what happened to Robotnik that they simply just refuse to even come 1 centimeter away, so 1 centimeter close to Tail. Also, fun fact: his crystal also says "Don't hurt me." So the reason why this sounds a bit off is because I actually planned for Sonic to actually have his line, but I decided to remove it because I remember that Sonic does not talk, so I decided to remove it. And also I had reference to the fingerting is electrostatic energy reference. If you don't know the reference, then go back to school and study chemistry. Also, I decided to make extras once less bad ending, says good ending recreated. CSS, where basically it's kind of my recreation of the bad end of the fine that good ending has bad ending level in Sonic 2 8-bit. So I thought it would be interesting if I remade that thing as a level in classic Sonic. When is it so important for Sonic 2 8-bit? Also, reason this came before because I kind of had a cold, and for a final segment, I want to make it sound special, but since I decided to do something, this is a recreation of the good ending of Sonic 2. And by the way, all of these images are recreations of actual level images that are in Sonic 2 8-bit. Just recreate these images. Yeah, that's what I did. Like, if you can tell the references, like all of these are just references to the Sonic 2 8-bit level screens that are there when you start the level. I decided to make him lie down because it would make more sense for them to lie down and look at the stars. That's the reason why. So, holy moly, 37 minutes. I need to stop yapping. I should learn to shut up more. This is again a reference to this good ending in Sonic 2 8-bit. And also, I decided to add the black screen thing so people would think that they can leave. They can exit the video while there's a secret post credits. So, what is post credits? Fun fact for this post credits is that it's not like it's gonna. Fun fact, this line was actually recorded in some video editing app. I decided it would be a better idea instead of me using a low pitch voice, I decided maybe to use some sort of video like audio editing app to make the voice more low pitched. I thought it would be an interesting idea. And that's going to be Sonic's voice from now on. Yeah. Anyways, that's all. I'm sorry if I wasted 38 minutes of your life, or half of that in case you're watching on 2x speed. I'm sorry. Please leave and dislike this video, and also like press the report button and report this for all of the above. Actually, just report it for just report this for promoting terrorism. Anyways, bye guys.